Welcome to the very first episode of Primetime Soccer. I'm your host, Sam Oko.
And I'm Ben Smith. Our top story for tonight and likely the year is the match fixing going on in England and abroad. I know that this is something that has really affected you personally. I know you had a lot on stake in these games, not just money, but your feelings and your pride.
Wait, are you trying to imply that I was involved in this or anyway took part of this? I mean, I look at the I looked at the facts here. They say 300 matches in Europe and about 380 matches in Africa are alleged to be part of the whole scandal.
Well, I would hope you would reap some benefits from such a scandal, but I mean, this isn't anything unheard of in international sport.
I think it's a bit weird to think that 680 matches in total would be part of it.
It's hard to believe, but
Yeah.
when it boils down to who's actually involved, I mean, it's really not that unthinkable to even imagine.
So what would you think would be the step forward for FIFA and Sepp Blatter?
Well, the league has to get its credibility back first and foremost. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do that, not anytime soon, for sure. What is good news is that the league games that were compromised had been limited to just interplay, friendlies, that kind of thing. But as for the Champions League, that's a whole another matter in itself. That's going to take time to...
Do you find it a bit weird that they haven't released a set of games and they said they won't release the set of games that are alleged to be fixed?
Well, we have to remember it's an investigation, and it's going to take time and for the truth to come out, obviously. These things are never black and white as they seem, and it's so easy for people to point a finger at one guy and just to say he's guilty and he should be reprimanded, but this is not the case.
I mean, it would be a perfect way to see we'll see what happens in the future. Let's carry on to some other topic, the Africa Cup of Nations. The final just happened this weekend. The game was against Burundi, Burkina Faso versus Nigeria. What did you make of the game?
Well, it was a great game. It was a classic championship, a 1-0 game. It was nail-biting, certainly, till the end, but obviously the best team came out the winner.
What'd you make of the goal? His name's Ba. Did you like the goal? Was it a world-class finish?
Absolutely, fantastic goal, great finish. He showed a lot of athleticism to pick that ball out of the air just to score it. But like I said, this is a great win for Nigeria, a good African Cup of Nations, a great building event for future matches. But Burkina Faso, how about the irrelevant country coming through in the end, though?
I mean, for me, the game had everything. It had the underdog and the expected champion in the final. It was a perfect story. The one thing I'll miss out of it is the vuvuzelas, though. I must add to that. I think it's one thing that puts South Africa above every other country. I don't think there's any other host has ever had such a rowdy crowd, if I can put it lightly.
Well, call me a fundamentalist, but I actually enjoyed the lack of vuvuzelas. So.
Really?
Well, I mean, the vuvuzelas were great, and I love the World Cup in South Africa, but I mean, this is the African Cup of Nations, and it should be something that everybody's there to watch and not just party for.
All right, fair enough. With that being said, let's transition to the English Premier League. The very top news of that is Frank Lampard's, I guess we could start with that, Frank Lampard's new contract, or rather the lack thereof a new contract. What do you make of it?
Not quite a new contract. He's been in talks for a while now, and it seems like Chelsea is pretty adamant to keep the man, and as they should. I mean, he's playing in form right now. He's one of the best players on the market, easy, in the Premier League, and really they can't afford to lose him. So, I
think he's when you talk about class midfielders, he's
right up there.
He really is. He's top. The top midfielders. You can put him in the same league as Ryan Giggs, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard. That's the top three. He has been Chelsea's go-to man this whole season. I know the fact one of the reasons is they're not going to offer him a new contract, or are reluctant to offer him a new contract, is the fact that they don't like signing they don't like offering players above a certain age, whereas it's usually around 31, 32 years old. They don't like offering them a long contract.
Max deal. And certainly, as they should be, have a little bit of the cold feet. But I mean, the man has been the face of your franchise. I mean, he's basically the Derek Jeter of Chelsea. He's a strong player, and honestly, you can't go wrong re-signing the guy. They should give him the money. He deserves it.
He's the only midfielder to ever score 10-plus goals in the Premiership for a straight 10 years. The very first, I'd say, the very first 6 years, up until the injury he got like 2 years ago, he'd been scoring up to about 20 goals a season. How do you? I really don't get it. Like,
well, I'm sure that's not the only impressive record he holds either. This guy does it all.
He's been the facilitator in midfield. Let's switch to. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what they do. It's certainly a long season. The contract isn't really supposed to run out until the end of the year. So we have we'll worry about this in the summer transfer window. I'd rather say. Let's move on to Liverpool. The breaking news right there is the fact that their long-standing skipper, or rather not skipper, the long-standing defender, Jamie Carragher, has decided he's going to hang up his boots at the end of the season. What do you make of that? Just
as important as any captain on the team is defensive player, hands down their strongest side on defense is Carragher, and he will be missed, obviously. The man's been in the Liverpool system since he was 9, something. He's been with them for a long time. Sure.
But, I mean, the one thing that you could actually say, well, he's lucked out because he was there. He was present when Liverpool picked up the UEFA Champions League a while back ago, which seems like a decade ago. But the one thing that you could say him and the likes of the players who have been with the team for that long have missed out on is the cups. They haven't won that many EPL cups, rather.
No, and I wouldn't attribute that to the play of their defense or to Carragher and specifically in general. But, I mean, Liverpool is a franchise that has kind of fallen by the wayside as of late with teams like Manchester United, Manchester City. I mean, these are top-flight programs in their league, and it's difficult to compete. But, I mean, I expect Liverpool to still compete in the Champions League and the Premier League. I don't think they're going to lose any of their bite.
But you would agree that he will daily be missed by the Liverpool fans?
Absolutely, that goes without saying.
All right. Over the weekend, if you weren't fortunate enough to catch any sort of soccer matches, if maybe you were on a vacation in the middle of winter, Chelsea played Wigan. Let's talk about that first game first. Chelsea won the game 4-1.
I wouldn't call it much of a game.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Well, it was a drumming, is what it was. It was a 4-1 beatdown of Wigan, and I mean, as they should. Chelsea has enough firepower to blow out any team in the league, especially one that hasn't been playing in form as of late, and they got the job done.
The one thing I would actually like to point out is the fact that in the first half, Chelsea didn't really look like the offensive side that they've been known to be for years. They had a lot of you could see the fact that their star player, or one of their star players, is Juan Mata, and he wasn't present in the first half, and you could see like the fluidity of their player was a little bit off.
Well, in this game is kind of a microcosm of how Chelsea's season has gone up until this point. Obviously, in the first half, they kind of fell off as far as expectations for the team was concerned, and I think that they're starting to play more informed now, and they're starting to get the hang of exactly where their team should be headed.
Well, right now they are in third place, 4 points away from City, who are and actually they face City in about a week from today. So it'll be really important. It's a really important clash, I'd say.
It's a great matchup. I mean, it's one that shouldn't be missed under any circumstance.
All right. Let's see. Some other teams that played over the weekend: Tottenham versus Newcastle. Tottenham beat Newcastle by 2-1.
Unfortunately, I was able to see most of that game, and it wasn't the most impressive victory by Tottenham that I've ever seen. But I mean, they have players left and right who can step up and score a goal for them, whereas Newcastle is kind of in a team in transition right now. It's not really sure where exactly they'll be headed. Definitely some influx of new players and players coming out, but Newcastle's still one of my favorite clubs, and they played Tottenham well at home.
The one thing the one thing that really stood out in the game was Gareth Bale. He was phenomenal. He was everywhere on the pitch.
2 goals.
2 goals. And did you see the free kick? That was
very impressive.
If there's any kids watching this show right now,
that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's cool, calm finish. No sweat or anything like that. The American Clint Dempsey will also put off a really good.
He's
really good game,
fantastic.
yeah.
I mean, he is able to set. He's the point guard of their offense, and he's able to set up each and every one of them, and he makes the whole team better.
One of the games that was played over the weekend was Arsenal versus Sunderland, which Arsenal won 1-0. What would you make of the game?
Well, I didn't get to see that game, unfortunately, but I mean, any game where Arsenal is playing a weaker opponent, I expect them to blow them out, honestly. They just have their team similar to Chelsea, where every player on offense is able to step up for them. And I think this game should have been 2-0 or 3-0, to be honest.
Well, Arsenal didn't really play that well. The goal came from Cazorla. It was a fluke. It was like a deflection, which, if you saw the replay of it, the goalkeeper he had it, but I think he lost sight of it from the defenders and just went in.
And it happens sometimes in soccer. I mean, every now and again, the soft goal is let up. It's unfortunate that it had to happen in such a fashion in a 1-0 defeat, but Santi Carlosa is playing fantastic this season, and I expect him to keep scoring goals.
Second place, Manchester City squared up against Southampton in a game which was, if you believe it, City should have walked away with that game with the 3 points in the bag.
Oh, I believe it. And at this point in the season, they really can't afford to lose too many more of these kind of games.
Was it shocking that they lost 3-1 to what could be arguably a lower league team?
Was it shocking? No. Did I expect it?
Yeah.
At the same flip of the coin, no, I didn't expect it. I expected them to blow them out in similar fashion. And
what does this do for their title challenge?
Unfortunately, I think no one's going to catch United. I think it's their season. I think that they're the best team as it stands right now with the Robin Van Persie signing. I mean, you really can't argue any more than that. But, I mean, City should be second place, and it'll be a close second place, I think, when it comes down to it. But
speaking of Manchester United, they squared up against Everton over the weekend, and they actually did win 2-0, and now stand 12 points clear in first place.
Well, fantastic game for Manchester United. Like I said, they're the best team. They're playing in form right now. I believe Robin Van Persie had a goal in that game as well. So,
here's another fun fact. If Robin Van Persie wasn't in Manchester United, if they never signed him, if Fergie never picked him up over the transfer window, Manchester United would be in 13th place. Do you believe it?
Well, you're saying that just because
of the goals and the assists that he's provided. Because most of the goals that have come through in like the last 5 minutes, or he's been the lone striker who scored both goals.
Well, Manchester United has been involved in some barn burners this season, and definitely some close games when it comes down to it. But obviously, I mean, when it's time to step up in clutch situations, as they've shown, they're able to convert and to score and to get the 3 points instead of where other teams like Manchester City might just see one. So that's really what separates the championship quality teams from.
I mean, certainly, I think United still have to face City, and they still have to face Chelsea. So I think the lead is going to get cut down from 12 points to, at the very most, 6 points.
Certainly, and they're not going to walk away with it by any means, but I can't see any team beating United right now in a head-to-head matchup.
12 points is one hell of a cushion.
It's going to be tough.
Let's transition to something that is actually going to happen this week, which is the UEFA Champions League. Are you happy that it's back, that the round of 16 is finally back after a month off?
Well, I'm happy to get out of the group stage. I feel like that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
But I am happy. I am excited to see some of the potential matchups that will obviously.
If you did not know, today's matchups consist of Celtic squaring up against Juventus and Valencia versus PSG. Let's take on the first game. The first game, Celtic versus Juventus. What do you make of it?
Well, both these games are really toss-ups in their own right. I mean, anything can happen. It's Champions League. You're not sure exactly what teams are going to exactly perform up to their standards. There are several teams that kind of taken a backseat approach, kind of just cruise control, at least in the first half. And anything can happen. This is Champions League.
If I forced you, I mean, I don't like forcing people, but if I forced you to pick a team, who would you think would win between Celtic and Juventus?
I mean, that's tough to say. I don't like picking favorites, obviously, but I always got to roll with the home team. So Celtic, I guess, in this might walk away with at least the draw.
You stole my pick. I would actually go with Celtic too, mostly because I mean Juventus, the Juventus is a stronger side, but I do like the whole underdog story, and Celtic certainly provided it. And the fact that they were able to beat Barcelona. In the group stage. I mean that's really going to help them in the experience, because the team is set up with really young players and they are growing, so they are certainly one to watch.
Definitely, and it's no small feat to beat Barcelona.
It's not. The next game is Valencia versus PSG. What do you make of this?
Well, PSG is the hot topic team right now. They're a fun team to talk about because of the recent signing of David Beckham to a multi-million-dollar contract.
Which
I'm sure he's
not going to get any of, because it's all going to charity.
Well, good for him that he was able to find that in his heart to donate his entire salary. But I expect PSG to thoroughly drum, I guess, Valencia, a weaker team. But like I said, this is Champions League and anything can happen. Valencia is the home side, so I like to roll with home sides, but I can't see a win for Valencia, not today.
I think it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a 1-1 draw, to be fair, because Valencia play, even though Valencia is in 11th place right now in the league, I'd say that I fancy them. It's going to be a Valencia. It's going to be a home game. I fancy them picking up the point.
Well, absolutely, and I mean they're fully capable of picking up the point, like you said, and PSG is kind of flying high right now, but it's not sure exactly who will play for them. I'm not even sure Ibrahimovic will be in that game. So I could easily see a situation where a strategic, tactical team like Valencia is able to get a goal or several against a team like PSG and come away with at least a point at home.
How about let's talk about the matchup of the week. Real Madrid versus Manchester United.
Oh, this is a bona fide clash of the Titans, definitely. Two hot teams coming into this game, and it should be a spectacle to watch, really.
I think for me, it's mostly, usually the past matchups have been all about the managers, all about Jose Mourinho and Ferguson and the tactics they're going to employ. For me, for this game, rather, it's just going to be between which defense can stop the striker. I mean, will United be able to stop Ronaldo? Will Real Madrid be able to stop Robin van Persie?
Well, that's a very good point, and obviously the most pressing issue is stopping the offense in this game. You're not going to be able to stop Ronaldo. You're not going to stop Van Persie. So, I mean, it's going to be tough on the coaches. They're going to have to bring all their tricks, and this is exactly what soccer's all about. These are the exciting matchups to look for and to anticipate, and it should be a very good matchup.
I think looking at the matchups, I think they won't be able to stop both players, but I think the best bit is try to limit them, try to limit maybe Ronaldo's touches on the ball, try to push him inside, because I know he loves attacking on the wing and he loves attacking for the breakaway. So that's one thing that he's really lethal towards.
Absolutely, and he's a player with a lot of flair, not unlike a Robin van Persie. So I expect both of them to get theirs, and it'll be fun to watch. But
would you reckon it's going to be a high-scoring game, or?
I see a 3-2 final score in this one.
3-2. Who do you have winning?
I can't say who's going to edge out who yet, but I gotta say.
You're killing me here.
I do like Ronaldo, so I guess I'll give the win to Real Madrid for this one.
And I mean, it's going to be a lovely matchup. I think Real Madrid is a better side too, and I only say that because
they're the more complete team.
Yeah,
I feel. They have top to bottom defense all around. They have supporting players.
But another factor of it is the fact that it's going to be home. Real Madrid is going to be home, and I think that having the fans behind them
certainly plays a factor in any matchup.
I'll tell you this though: if Real Madrid loses to Manchester United, if Real Madrid get knocked out of the round of 16 this early, I would not want to be.
I would not want to be a Madrid fan either. Yeah, or Moreno.
Because I know that the fans will just turn on them like that.
Oh, they'll burn them at the stake for that. Sure.
Let's transition on to something else. The January transfer window. Obviously, it's been closed for 2 weeks. But what were your most interesting buys of the?
Well, Certainly, I mean, I get really excited when I hear Mario Balotelli's name dropped in any conversation, especially the transfer window of all
Were you surprised? Were you surprised that he actually made the switch from City to?
I was very surprised. Obviously, it was a move that the management had been considering for a while, it seems. I guess they figured that he just wasn't worth the PR headache anymore that he is, but I mean, he's a great player, and AC Milan should be very happy.
I'll read you one statistic. He's at his time at City, he only managed 1 assist, and that was the assist that won him the EPL. What would you make of that?
Well, I would say that he is not the facilitator that maybe AC Milan is hoping for, but he is the finisher, certainly in every aspect of the way. And his goal of the Euros last year was
phenomenal,
spectacular.
I'd say this: I think he's played 2 games so far for Milan, and well, actually, rather maybe 2 or 3 games. But his scoring rate has been really good. He scored like 3 goals in 2 games, and it's weird. I mean, the fact that he couldn't show such class at City. I mean, I guess he didn't play as much, which was a problem for City because they have 5-star players. But at Milan, he seems more at home and he seems more free.
Well, in a team, in a system where you're juggling 5 quality players, as you said, like Samir Nasri, Aguero, Tevez. I mean, it's tough to find playing time for a young player like Balotelli, and we have to remember that he is still very young.
Yes. He's only 21.
He's only 21. But he still has a lot of maturing to do, obviously, and I expect him to one day emerge as one of the premier players in international soccer.
He's certainly one player to watch in the next World Cup, if Italy makes it. Let's look at something else. One of the biggest stories of this January transfer window is the fact that Bayern Munich confirmed that Pep Guardiola will be their manager starting June in the summer.
He's a great coach. I think that it'll only make the team better. Obviously, Bayern Munich is a top-flight program, and they know exactly what they're doing with this guy.
What do you call it? Oh, and a side note to that, he's going to be given $250 million for new transfers. So for next season, what would you expect Bayern Munich? Would you call it like a 5? Would them signing Pep Guardiola give it the little nudge to call it like a 5-star team, to cement them as a 5-star team rather?
I would already call Bayern Munich a 5-star program. I mean, they already have top flight players. I mean, in their league, and as far as the Bundesliga goes, I don't think there are many teams above them right now. Maybe besides Borussia, being the only exception. But they're an informed team playing very well right now, and it's going to be tough to beat Bayern under any circumstance. Yeah.
Well, that's all the soccer we have for you for this week. It's been a pleasure having you. This is Primetime Soccer with your hosts Sam Marco
and Ben Smith.
Have a lovely week.